Thank you, sir. How's it going, everybody? My name is Frank Heneghan, and this is my partner, Dan. And I'm a gutter guy just like you. I kind of want to spend a few minutes telling you about my story because I feel like, I met a lot of guys over the last 2 days and had some great conversations, and I feel like we have a common thread. You don't get into the rain gutter world on a whim. You know, you get in there tough as nails with a heart of fire. It's a very physical job. It's an emotional job. It's not for the weak. And I know everybody in this room shares that common thread. And I've heard a lot of stories from other folks about how they got into it and, you know, their background. And there's a lot of tough luck stories and gritty bootstrap type of stories. So I want to give you a little bit about my background, where I come from, how long I've been doing this, and why I'm here now standing on stage with Dan. I own a company called Connecticut Gutter. I started it with a partner back in 2003. That's nearly 20 years ago. I'm 45, I'll be 46 in October. So I've been at this a long time. And when I started, I had a great job. I was 26, I was college educated, I was a suit and tie sales guy for an IT firm. I was making 120 grand at 26. I thought I was king of the world, driving a nice BMW. Life was good. But I wanted more. And I wanted to start my own thing. And that's the thing with entrepreneurs. It's just this fire inside of you that you can't explain, but you know it's the path for you. Regardless of the obstacles, you just set out and you know that's what you want in life. And although I was doing well, I said, if I have my own thing, I have the heart and the passion, I know I could make this work. I did a lot of research in the rain gutter world, and there was a huge opportunity in Connecticut at the time. I mean, I went to the Secretary of State, and Connecticut Gutter LLC was available. ctgutter.com was available for a domain name. Just made sense to me. I had the fire. I said, I'm going to do this. My boss at the time was not happy that I was leaving. So we made a deal, and I was doing this half salary thing, and I had a huge sale, and I was on the hook for about 30K in commission. This guy burned me for 30 grand on my way out the door. That was my seed money to start my company. Oh. At the same time, my live-in girlfriend, who I was positioned to marry, she was a pharmaceutical sales rep. She was not happy about this gutter thing. She's like, what are you doing? You're gonna be a gutter guy? I'm like, no, I'm gonna be a business guy. I'm gonna go run my own business. I'm gonna build this big operation, and we're gonna make a lot of money. You're gonna be a gutter guy. It just didn't fit into her narrative for what she wanted. She came from not a wealthy family, was doing well for herself, and wanted to keep that image up. And I saw through that image. And it's just, we all know what I'm talking about, with the dirty gutter guy, geocell hanging from your eyelashes and dirt under your nails. You take a shower, I clean up pretty well, you know, like, let's relax. But anyway, she wasn't seeing it my way. So I had to break up the relationship. I was doing this business. And I couch surfed for 3 months until I figured out where I was gonna live, because she and I were living together. And, you know, man on fire, I was making this happen. So here we are 20 years later. Every step of the way was a fight. I mean, I had a partner, we had a self-teach. We literally self-taught ourselves on the ladder, made every mistake in the world, came home with cut hands until I figured out how to use snips and stay away from the sharp edges. Geocell on the eyelids, I mean, you know, you learn the hard way. There wasn't training back then. So we did it. We broke through every barrier. We started making money. And about year 8, I'm looking at the books, and I'm like, I still want for more. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be more revenue here. There's just not enough money for me and you to both live the way we intended to live when we set out to do our own thing. And Chris, my partner at the time, he agreed, and so it was like, all right, you're buying me out, I'm buying you out, something's got to happen here. So I pushed him to make an offer. I literally paid him double the measly offer he offered me because I knew I was going to do this. Bought him out. At the time, we had about 15 employees. I doubled revenues the next year. We were doing about 500 grand, just not enough money. The next year, on my own, $1 million. So right there, I kicked myself and said, man, what was he doing this whole time? He was almost like an anchor You know, I had the vision, I knew what steps we needed to take. But still, not enough. And so I scratched my head, and I said, you know, how do we clean this up? How do I improve my business? How do I improve my processes? What do I want in life? Well, how do I want to present my business to the general public? So I hired a business coach, and I allocated a lot of money towards this business coach. And I kept him around for a year, and we had meetings once a week for a year. What I got out of that was learning my numbers. And if anybody in this room doesn't know their numbers, talk to me in an hour, because I want to give you a couple pointers and steer you in the right direction. If you don't know your numbers, I don't care what you do in business. If you don't know your numbers, you're blind. You're running blind. There's no direction you can take because you don't know what you have. You just don't know what you have. So with this coach, I was able to really scrutinize my numbers, and it was a huge eye-opener. And I realized I really didn't have much. I didn't have enough money on the plate to allocate funds for advertising and marketing the right way. I certainly didn't have enough money after payroll and workers' comp to have the lifestyle that I wanted, or what I was accustomed to before I started my own business. So I said, okay, what do I need to do here? So I immediately decided I'm going to be the guy that offers the premium product in my marketplace. I'm not competing on price anymore. I'm done with that. And so I decided prices are going to be here. I want to be the most expensive guy. And let's face it, you guys all agree, we're all consumers in here, right? So there's different flavors of consumerism. You got the cheap tire kicker guy that wants the best price, best price, best price. Him and his wife cut coupons on Friday nights. They don't go out. They're at home eating ramen noodles, cutting coupons. Okay, I don't want to talk to that guy. I don't want him to call my office. I don't want to see him. I don't want to waste any time with him. Then you got your middle of the road that, you know, they're still looking for a deal, but you know, product quality is not the most important thing to them. But then you have your primo, right? Everybody knows the guy that is in the best clothes, drives the nicest car, has, you know, the sharpest looking house. The landscaper's there every week cutting the lawn. That's the guy I want to sell to. I just made a conscious effort and decision. I flipped the switch and said, I don't need to service everybody. I can't make everybody happy anyway. So why am I wasting my time chasing volume? And a lot of you guys know me. I'm on the forums too, and I have a good time on that. And there's great debates on these forums about, you know, how many feet do you do? You know, it's like, I don't want to use the term, but men measuring contest. How many feet? I don't care how many feet you do. What's your bottom line? What are your margins? How much money are you making? So we all get caught up in that, especially in the early years. The most amount of footage, I'll take all the jobs in the world. No, I would have 15 guys. I was running a daycare center. High volume was, you know, we were cranking. Why don't I just slow down and work smart and chase the big jobs and not have as much volume? I don't need to do 5 jobs in a day. I'll take 2 jobs in a day. And my margins will be phenomenal because now I know my numbers, and that's what I wanted to chase. So I also, at the same time, cut out middlemen, okay? When I first started out, I was a nobody. So I was working for roofers. I was getting kicked like a dog. I was getting paid slow. I was getting called back on nonsense that the electrician fiddled with my downspout a week after my perfect install, and I'm on the hook because they're holding retainage. You know, builders and roofers, and I had no you know, connection to the homeowner. So that had to change too. That was the second most important thing, was how am I going to connect to this new audience? Like John was saying yesterday, the customer avatar. My customer avatar is wearing very expensive clothes, very nice watches, and Mercedes in the driveway. How am I going to connect to them? And first and foremost is your website. So I started buying books on HTML. I built our first website. I did that in year 1. I'm not a programmer, but I play one on TV. And I figured out how to do it reading that HTML book and got our first website up. And then I just started chasing web programmer after web programmer. Every 2 years, I'd have a new, bigger, better website. And then, boom, SEO, the buzzwords start coming around 10 years ago. And I have to get with the times here. I have to figure out how to optimize my web performance. And I need to make sure that website is badass and tells that customer, does the screening for me. I want that primo customer to be the only guy calling me. And how do I do that? The website tells that story. And so web programmer after web programmer. In the meantime, this guy, I got solicited by this big $150 million a year company that has a national dealer network in the basement systems world. And they were putting together a local business directory. This is like 15 years ago when directories online were just becoming a thing. And they solicited us. We had a great name, but we were relatively unknown. And Dan was a part of that, okay? So Dan and I met then. There's another fellow that we work with, Evan, and he's our IT guy. He's a Bangladeshi programmer, but he's a whiz, he's an absolute business master himself. But he's got a team of 35 programmers in Bangladesh. Evan is in Texas, like Dan is now. Dan used to be in Connecticut with me. Long story short, I took Dan's name and number, and I kept it in my back pocket. And I continued to play my web games, trying to find the right programmer. Then I circled back. As technology continued to evolve, I knew Dan and Evan were onto something major. What Evan created is this amazing supercharged platform that we now build websites on top of that allows us to get in the backside of that website, control all of the content, all the meaningful content on the fly with WYSIWYG controls. So even HTML for dummies, same idea. What you see is what you get. You type it in, and it immediately publishes to the website. But more importantly, the silver bullet, and Dan's going to get into it, is city pages, and city pages done properly with deep, deep content that makes you the authority in your zip code, or whatever zip code city page you get the consumer to hit on. And that's the magic behind what we do. And this long-winded explanation to you right now is to tell you how I wouldn't be here with Dan if this didn't completely change the game for me. I went from $1 million operation with a glass ceiling that I couldn't break through. I couldn't figure out how to connect to those consumers and get more quality leads. And I did Home Advisor and Angie and all that nonsense everybody else in this room has tried. I looked at, just for kicks about a year ago, how much did I spend with Home Advisor? So I went and I looked, it was $300,000, just shy of 300 grand. And those were shit leads, they were shared leads. It was all the race to the bottom. That wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. So here we are, glass ceiling. My company does over $2 million a year. I don't run it. I'm 30,000 feet above ground level watching it. I have great staff. I have estimators. I have admin in the office. Yes, I plug in. Yes, I monitor the business. Yes, I do it weekly, sometimes daily. I have spreadsheets that I look at KPIs on. My sales guys see what they're doing. But once I got with Dan and Evan, we built this website, and Dan's going to demo a little bit about my particular company's website. My revenues went crazy. I was able to screen and be very selective on the clients I wanted. The website told the story. I mean, music to my ears is when I could track. There's so many features on our program, but when I track the day-to-day of my business, since I've been here, I see emails and correspondence between my office staff and prospective customers, and the best feedback that I could see is, oh my God, I know you guys are going to be the most expensive, but we want to see if we could afford you. Perfect. That's what I want. I want you to know I'm going to be the most expensive before my staff comes out. You're already pre-sold. You're already expecting a big number. Perfect. And I've told the story well enough with the way the site embellishes my operation, the About Us sections of my site. You see my vehicles, we're driving down the street, everything's beautifully wrapped. And then I do a lot of, social advertising. So anybody know my ad, maybe from the forums? I'm the guy hanging from the gutter with the hard hat on, kicking his legs. If you haven't seen it, you'll see it today. But, I drive that home. So long story short, you know who we are. We're making top dollar because of being able to generate quality leads. And we're going to show you how we do it. It's a game changer. I have 3 other businesses. I'm an entrepreneur. I've now built other businesses because this technology is so strong. I have a stormwater business called Connecticut Stormwater Authority, ctstormwater.com, if you want to look at the website, that it's on its 2nd year on the platform. We'll do 1.2 million this year. I'll do 3 million with that company next year. The phones are ringing off the hook. I'll turn it over to Dan. Dan's going to tell you a little bit about himself and what we're into.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Frank. This one Good? Good. All right, hi guys. So as far as the network goes, you're looking at Lifetime Gutter. Frank and I decided that we're going to utilize the background, the experience in the industry standards, that we've created. And what I do is I build dealer networks. So when we met back in the day, Evan, the guy that Frank is mentioning, he's the web guru. And I hired him 15 years ago, and he built the very first platform in the network that I was running the marketing for. So we were a $5 million company. And I was there 17 years, and by no means it wasn't me that did all this. We had a huge team, and we just grew incredibly. So when I left, we were a $150 million company 7 years ago, but I didn't have a piece of the company. And I knew, hey, you're not getting any younger. You better start to build something that you're going to have your own legacy instead of, building it. Our contractors, we had 350 contractors. So over 17 years, I learned how to grow a contracting business. And I would travel around the country at the end, last 4 or 5 years, just doing trainings and going through finding bottlenecks for each contractor, determining where each one in their market is losing market share or has an opportunity to grow, and then implement strategies that would help them to grow. All the while, we're using this technology to get them in front of more homeowners. And it worked like clockwork. And so what I did after that is I said, all right, I've got to build my own dealer networks. So I started that 7 years ago. That's when Frank got back with me, and we started focusing on his businesses and took them to the next level. So 2 years ago, we said, we need to take this technology and this experience and our best practices in the gutter industry, and we need to build a gutter network, a national, throughout North America gutter network where we have seamless coverage from coast to coast. Incidentally, a Lifetime Gutter contractor has exclusivity. So they have their own territory. So there's nobody else competing using this technology in their territory. So this is why we're here. We were talking with Brent, and we were saying, look, there's you've heard a lot of good speakers over the last couple of days, and there's overlap, in what a lot of us do. That's okay, because anybody that has spoken here that you guys can work with is going to take your company to the next level. And there are so many contractors in our field. There's enough for everybody to thrive, but you guys want to take advantage of what you've heard over these last couple of days. And I've been doing this a long time with networks and with associations and training and helping contractors grow. And so we're just going to today we're just going to run through what our kind of silver bullet is in our technology and what kind of differentiates it. And you can kind of see how we've grown our contractors and what we do. And I want to run through a couple of the main points. This is Lifetime Gutter Network. We've got a couple main products that we offer our contractors that are part of our network. And incidentally, it doesn't cost anything to be part of our network, and it's not a franchise. So, we don't make money from, anything you do. We're lead generation based. So Gutter School, our Lifetime Gutter Network ranks #1 for gutter networks, gutter school, gutter training, all of those keywords we rank #1 for. So that's how we generate, our own prospects. Gutter School, Frank was doing remote gutter trainings, right? So we'd have...
Yeah, so we had some fun with Gutter School. I think there's a number of you in this room that have called us about Gutter School, which is exciting, because I think we all agree as business owners, there's a huge market there, right? I mean, when you bring in staffers, and unfortunately, a lot of us have to hire people that are not skilled yet. Maybe they were doing something else before with tools and with their hands, but now you have to cross-train them. And you want to do that rapidly. And it's tough to do it on the job because it's costing you money and it's affecting your efficiency. So Dan and I have shipped in a number of companies to Connecticut. I have a 5,000 square foot facility. And inside that facility, we built a roof mock-up. And it's challenging. Half of it has fascia, but the fascia is really wonky. The other half is open rafter tails. It's not the most incredible roof model, mock-up, but it's efficient, and it's effective. It's 16 feet in the air, so I mean, we've had guys in there that have never even worked on a ladder before. So it's like, whoa, okay, 101, let me show you how to handle a ladder. But it's for us to do the hands-on training, doesn't really fit into our business model. It wasn't sustainable, but we did so many of them that we said, let's put the video camera on, and we had our videographer come in and capture a lot of it. And now we've post-produced that. We've chopped it up. We have about 22 or 25 segments, and they're 100 level. They're not advanced level, but they're great if you have new staffers that you want to plug in and show them the videos, give them the link, tell them to watch it at home at night, and just even conceptually. So when they come back to work, they already know what you're expecting. They've picked up a lot of the tricks and tips I've given, and the videos are me teaching to a live class. So they're helpful, and
we're creating a certification program. So as they go through, you get a new guy, you send him in, or you don't have to send him in, it's virtual, so he's there. He goes through the videos, and then there's a little test at the end of each one, and they go through all of the 20, 22, 25 videos, and at the end, you pass that certification test, they get they're a certified lifetime gutter contractor, and then they have support that goes along with that. That's all free. So everything we do on the training side, on the gutter school side, is free for our contractors. So we don't monetize that. The other thing we do is, in my background, as I say, I've gone and done evaluations for hundreds of contractors over the years. So I developed a program that's called the Business Pipeline. And it's an exercise that starts with marketing, the marketing pipe, lead generation, that flows into call center, that's lead capture, that flows into sales, right? That's what Megan was talking about earlier, having accountability in the sales side, and then that flows into production, and that flows into service, getting back into that home, that you want to own that home. So that's why gutter cleaning is not a bad thing, even though it's a low ticket item, because it's about getting back in that home and being able to communicate your additional products and services to those homeowners. So all of these pipes are really departments in your company. So if you're a one-man show, you still have 5 departments in your company and an office department, 6. So whose name in your company is on those pipes? Who's responsible for the KPIs? And each one of these pipes, each one of these departments has a KPI, like Megan was talking about. So this is how we think, this is how we help our contractors grow, and we help our guys through gutter school with these philosophies and guiding them through. Now, every one of those pipes, when you find a bottleneck in any one of those pipes, then we help with the solutions to it. So a lot of the stuff that you've been hearing over the last couple of days is just beautiful information, because it's on spot. And this is what we have to do. This is what everybody in the room has to do to get to that next level, is follow the processes. We heard so much about processes, and we're huge in processes because we want our contractors to manage the process and not the people. When you manage the process, it takes the personality out of it. And this is something that we've been discussing with some of you guys over the past couple of days. But so that's Gutter School. What I'm going to talk about today is GutterLeadR, which is the technology. And I just kind of run through this quickly. We don't have a lot of time, and we wanted to kind of give you guys the background of who we are, because you don't know us. But what you're seeing now is the platform. So what happens is, as Frank said, it's a proprietary platform. So these are all modules. Every one of those little icons you see is a module, a widget. So they've already been programmed. And what these widgets are is when you click on a widget, a drop-down box comes in with fields. So simple fields to fill out, like a DocuSign, right? So you fill these fields out, and then when you hit send, it automatically goes to the platform, which gets disseminated onto your website. And it's incredible technology, doesn't exist anyplace else, and it really works. And it makes it so simple to get all different types of content to your site, where without this, you have to go to a programmer, a web person, and pay them to be HTML guys. It's cost prohibitive. And that's why you'll never see the stuff that you'll see that on our sites, you'll never see anyplace else, because it's too cost prohibitive to get them there.
Just to give you guys perspective on where this could lead to. Some of you already set up the size of your company and what you have for staff. You could take something like this because I just implemented this. I spent the last 2 years, I brought in somebody, actually it was a smart hire. He was very technical with a drone. So I hired, and post-production on video. Brought him in, I actually 1099'd him, I gave him $1,000 a week. I kept him on for 2 years, and I pumped an incredible amount of content into my site. I had him just chase my install teams, and he'd send a drone up, make a really cool drone video, take a bunch of stills, get back to the office, and just input before and afters, and photo galleries, and videos, and just pump, pump, pump. And basically what you're doing is feeding fresh content daily to the site. Google sees that, acknowledges it, gives you the wink, and says, give these guys top billing, give them organic results, first page. And not only do you come up once, but you're coming up 3 times for 3 different pages on the site, and you're even coming up on videos, on the video bar towards the bottom. So if you have the staff, or you are a visionary and you think you want to put somebody in that role, holy cow, is this powerful. That's their job full time. You turn around and look at my site, I have, 500 before and after entries. All of my city pages are just maximized with 20, 30 different jobs per zip code. You can't say no to me. You hit my city page because you live in that town, and you're scrolling, oh, I know that church. I go to that church. Oh, I know that house on the corner of Main Street. And I relate to you because I'm all over your town. And if you could get somebody in to do that role, supercharge power on SEO results.
So there's 2 things we just want to run through with you, and these are the obvious ones. First one is, how do we get more traffic to the site, right? How do we get more people on your website? Secondly, more importantly, how do we convert them? So, every web guy is out there saying, hey, we're going to get you this much traffic. Well, that's great, but what I want is in-home appointments. That's what I want. So how do we get that traffic to end up being actual appointments of people that are ready to buy? So let's just kind of run through quickly some of the main points. This is the differentiator. This is what Frank mentioned, and it's not just city pages. City pages are something that you have certain towns in your market, and if you put unique content on that page, you can index it to Google, and they'll see that you do work in that town, right? Very important stuff. The difference is that, as Frank said, we are bringing daily or weekly content from jobs that you guys are going to. And that content is being brought back to your site, and it's being disseminated onto your city pages, the town that you were in. And this is just a huge, huge differentiator. So every one of our contractors gets a service area. So you're seeing right here, this is one of our guys down in the Panhandle in Florida. And on the right, you're seeing a scrolling list of towns. Every town in their coverage area, we have a city page for. And we index it as soon as it has unique content on it. So I'm just going to run through quickly show you how this works. So this is an example of a city page. And what you're seeing here, it's hard to see it on this screen, but on the left, up there on the top, that's regular content. That's regular content for that town, and then regular content for the services we provide. Under here, there's Frank hanging in the gutter. Then under here are reviews. So all the reviews that you generate in a town will, using the technology I'm going to show you, automatically gets disseminated onto your city page for whatever town that was. Now, up on top here in the middle, you're seeing jobs. So there's 3 different modules that we use. One is jobs. That's where you can add a couple photos, before photos, and then there's 2 questions we ask. Why did they call you, which is what the problem is, and what did you propose, which is what the solution is. People search for either the problem they have, or they search for what they think is their solution, whether it is or not. That's how people search for everything. So when you answer those 2 questions with a sentence or 2, for each home you go to, that automatically gets put onto that city page for the town you're in. Underneath here is, the next one is before and afters, and then the third one is case studies. So we do case studies on any unique jobs that you guys do, and that gets put right to that city page. Now on Frank's site, we've got 43 indexed city pages out of 46 towns in his service area. Now, some guys we work with, we have 200 city pages. It's a bigger area. Frank he's really reduced the amount of towns he goes in for what he was saying before.
Yeah, so Connecticut is a small state to begin with. but 43 cities in Connecticut is rather large. What I've been able to do is shrink my service area because, like I told you in the beginning, I'm only going for the primo customer. Our average ticket is $6,200. I'm selling high-end systems, and I'm not hitting everybody, and I don't want to hit everybody. In fact, I want my service area shrunk down as small as I can get it, so I don't have to travel far. I want to hit like 15-mile radius if I can. So it's a game of numbers of getting your pricing up, and at the same time, tracking, knowing exactly where your leads are coming from. I'm parsing off, I'm shrinking my service area. I'm taking towns off that map because I just I don't need to go there anymore. I'm getting fed enough where I want to be in the big bucks zip codes.
So 428 local jobs were added. So that seems like a lot of jobs to be added, right? So I'm going to show you how that happens. How could you ever get 400 jobs added to your website in conventional method? You can't. Impossible, right?
Keep paying a web developer. That's how you can do it.
So we also have, this is typical, 131 pages on his website. So our guys have, all their sites have hundreds of pages. Some guys that have been with us for a long time have 900 pages. He's become the dominant player. It becomes, the idea is that anybody that we're working with, we want to make them the industry leader in that marketplace. And that's my history, and that's what we've done with all of our guys. That's what Frank and I are doing here. So 123 pages are indexed to Google. Okay, that means those have unique content on them. Google's seeing this site as a 123-page website with all unique content, with all the different towns in his coverage area. And every contractor is the same way. So this is an example of one of the widgets I showed you. So you click on jobs, and these are your drop-down fields. And these are the two questions I just mentioned. You fill out the answers, you upload photos that you've taken from the job site, and it's that quick. It happens in a minute. And this is done in a minute.
How many people, show of hands, use Company Cam for their crews? Decent amount.
Right, about half.
Super easy to use Company Cam. Have an office admin, daily or weekly, dig into Company Cam, find some good photos, quickly upload them to the site. You don't even have to hire a guy like I said I did. It could just be done as a routine task by just extracting them out of Company Cam.
It's a process, just like Megan was talking about earlier. Once we create that process, and I know a lot of guys have talked about processes, so that's what this is as well. We just create a process for it, and then it's part of the system. This is the before and after widget. And then there's a case study one, same thing. They upload your before, your after here, you name them, you answer the same two questions, and done. And the key up there at the top is you put the city in or the town that you're working in, and over here you put the service type. And that little one at the top I'm going to show you in a few minutes, that's the employee or employees that worked on that job. When you put them in there, when you have a drop down for anybody that you want to put in, when you drop that down to them, they will end up having their own web page. So picture your sales guys competing and having their own web page. It doesn't cost anything. It's all automated.
You put that link in your email signature, and as you're communicating with your prospective client, they click on that link and they see all the jobs that sales guy sold or was responsible for, and it's a confidence builder.
So last year, we generated over 1,100 qualified internet leads during the pandemic, record-breaking lead gen on the.
That's on my site, right? That's ET Gutter?
Yeah, that's your site.
And that's just the website. I
Yep.
I have trucks and signs and referrals and repeats and everything else. That's just what the site did
That's
for
right.
my company.
Yeah, we're big on brand building. So we want you to build brands constantly. And what our program is we don't get paid for any branding, and we don't get paid for anything that it was not generated from the website itself. So there's no double dipping. So a couple other things I just want to hit quickly. Backlinks, posting backlinks to, we talked earlier about, having guys that are influencers, right? So when you have the right backlinks, that's just part of the process that we're always working on. Facebook was mentioned yesterday. I think John mentioned it too, and I think Jason mentioned it yesterday morning. So I'm a big into multimedia mix. And that was mentioned yesterday, and I'm a total advocate of it. I agree with what they were saying, in that Google now gives more credibility when you are not just dealing with your website and with SEO, but when you're not only advertising with them, right, Google AdWords, Google Display, but also Facebook, YouTube. Google owns YouTube. So it's important to have a little presence in all of these. And we have programs that we can help you with to do that, and it's very inexpensive. But it's just something that should be part of your media mix. So Facebook, you know, how many, you guys ever be like talking to your spouse, and then an hour later, 2 hours later, the next day, you get an ad on what you were talking about?
Something in your feed that is exactly what you would describe, which is like.
Right. Has that happened to everybody? Has anybody
purple
not had that
moonrise,
happen?
Like the craziest item ever.
So they claim, no, we don't listen. You know, or we listen, but we don't follow up on what we hear. We know they do, because they'll say, well, oh, you're probably doing a search, right? You're probably doing a search on that. No, we've had conversations that were completely out of left field, something that you would never search, has nothing to even do with anything. It's just part of what you were talking about. And an ad comes up for that odd thing. And I know that had nothing to do with anything. But my point is, we use that. That's what Facebook and YouTube and Google advertising is. Because how it works now is you provide them with a photo or video, we use videos, and then a headline, some body copy for each service that you want leads for. And then we give them a budget and we give them a territory. And they will listen to people, and they'll show people that they hear what you're at. Anybody that's talking about gutters, anybody that's talking about gutter cleaning, anybody that's talking about gutter replacement, anybody that's talking about gutter guards. This is how it works, and it works. So we have to utilize it. We know that they're listening, so let's utilize it. So that's what we do for these programs, and we have that down. So Google My Business is another one. Now you have to optimize your GMB. So I'm just throwing things out quickly, because this is just something that has to be paid attention to. So you want to have some kind of Facebook presence on your own business. We don't put a lot of stake in that, but you do want to have something that you have content going to. So some of the content we repurpose. The content we're talking about that we're generating here, we just repurpose that into these other places. So it's easy. It's not like, oh, I got to have a writer come up with something. No, we just do that as part of the process, our process. So second part is not just getting the traffic to the site, but converting that traffic to a valuable lead, right? That's the whole key. I was showing you leads for Frank, right? 1,142 leads, not traffic, not what we got to the site. It only matters what converts on the site.
Right.
So 5-star reviews, right? I mean, we talked about it ad nauseum yesterday. I mean, how the importance of reputation management, the importance of having that presence. So here's what we do. We have a link. See that link? That's one of our contractors, and it's /survey. We give them postcards. These postcards have the link on it. At the end of the job, when the foreman's leaving, they say, hey, you did a great job cleaning up. Can I get you a bottle of water? He says, no, but hands him the postcard. If you wouldn't mind just clicking on this link, it'll only take a couple minutes, and we're having a contest at work, and whoever gets the most 5-star reviews this week is going to get a gift certificate, and I wanted to take my wife to dinner. And it works. And they'll click on it. And when they click on it, they automatically go to the survey. And it's already 5 stars, and it's very easy for them.
See, all those stars are pre-populated. They're colored, so it's automatically 5 stars. They have to click it to take it down a notch.
And then what happens is when they give you 4 stars or better, a dialog box pops up in front of them. It has a Google logo on it. It thanks them and asks them if they wouldn't mind taking a moment to give you a 5-star Google review. And 10% do it, but you get your Google reviews automatically, right? You don't have to do anything. And they get populated on your city page. Everyone that clicks on that, if it's 4 stars or better, it goes to your city page. Now, what if it's not 4 stars? Well, A, it doesn't go to your website, but B, they get a different dialog box. This one thanks them for the feedback, and it says, if you're not completely satisfied with the work that we did, please contact Frank Heneghan and his number. And then Frank immediately gets an email that says, hey, Frank, one of your customers gave you a less than 4-star review. You better contact them immediately, because I can't tell you guys the importance of not having any bad reviews outside your website. Right. On your website, we can take care of it. Off your website, all we can do is get better ones on top of that. And that's how we do it. Like I said, we put Google there. If you get a bad Yelp review, we switch Google to Yelp. and now you get a couple of good Yelp reviews and it pushes down, right, your queue.
It's a powerful tool for the owner that is not super deep into the company and hands-on on everything. Like if you're at 30,000 feet and you want to have a finger on the pulse, when you get that email to wherever you are, you're Bora Bora, you get that email that says, there was a 2-star or a 3-star. It's not getting posted on the website, but you're going to pick the phone up and call your office and call your estimator and call your crew and say, what the hell happened? So if you're not doing this, you don't get that feedback from the homeowner. They might have had a bad experience with your company. You're gone in the wind. You don't get that valuable feedback. So this is a good owner-manager tool to keep your finger on the pulse.
So Frank had 84, 4.9 average star reviews, which is great. You got a lot on Google. You want to have 10 or more on Google My Business. Once you get 10, you're at a different level in Google's eyes. So you got to have 10 good reviews with an average of 4.5 or thereabouts. Video is another thing. We do YouTube videos, and we post them on YouTube and link them back to certain spots on the website, and it's important. And there's a couple things that we learned from these videos. What we do with our guys is what we call the Ask the Expert series. So what we'll do is we'll have you guys do it in your own town, or you can come to us and we'll do it. But it's asking a couple different questions. We pick out the 4 or 5 services that you want leads in, and then you're the expert. Set it up with a camera with a little set, and you say something like, what I get asked all the time is, how do I, whatever, when this occurs? When my gutters get completely clogged and they start to bow over, whatever it is, the 5 that you want to ask, then you answer that question right on the video, under a minute, and then those videos are huge, and they rank. We can get those videos to rank, and they link back to the site. And out of all the stuff we did in my past, over those 17 years, with all those contractors, I had 7 videographers in my department, a huge marketing department for that company, 70 people. And I had 7 videographers, 5 graphics people. And so we did a ton of video optimization, and this worked really well. So we implement that now. The other thing I wanted you guys to think about, this is the About Us page on one of our clients in Dallas, Texas. And so we want these videos that I'm mentioning to be in the different service areas, and then we want them to be on the About Us page. This is the About Us section. So another thing that's really important, I want you guys to think of yourselves as a reality TV show, and have somebody videoing and taking stills of everything that you guys do and get that content back up. How much time we got, Brent? A little over, okay. We'll wrap up.
Yeah.
So,
Go to
Okay.
Lead Central.
Okay, last thing I want to show you on this is the very first module, and that's Lead Central. And this is kind of it's almost like a mini marketing CRM. And it was designed because, that we had the local company where I was a $30 million company. So we had so many leads so many advertisements to track and outside lead sources to track that we created this tracking system that everybody gets that is on our platform. And it allows you to see all the calls that came in. It allows you to listen to every call that came in. It shows you all the different lead sources. And we use dedicated phone numbers for each type of lead source. So you can track anything you want, and it comes up real time right there. You can listen to the call, and then you can click through and actually go to the permanent record of that lead. Over here, I can see every page that homeowner, that searcher went to on your site if they filled a form out. So I know exactly what their interest level is. And then here's the part that's a little CRM. So anybody that's small, that doesn't have a CRM, and yes, $2 million should have a CRM, but anybody that's small, that's just getting started, that doesn't, you can use this as your CRM. It takes you through the marketing, and then from there, right through the sales, and then from there, you just go to QuickBooks. And a lot of little guys do that, so they don't have to pay anything. It's just part of this. And then once you get to that next level where you need the CRM, boom, you just go to the CRM, and this content that you have here just goes right to your CRM. It connects to your CRM.
So as an owner, so you guys see how I use it. As an owner, once a week, I'll go in here. This is like my dashboard. I'll filter search terms based on date. So I want to see like this week. So I'll pull up all the leads from this past week, and then I'll filter by source type. So how many Google pay-per-click ads did how many leads came in through Google pay-per-click? How many leads came in through SEO, through the website? How many leads came in through Facebook? I put my eye on it and I monitor it, and I could do it on a couple clicks of a button. I see everything. And then wherever my brain wants to go, what am I going to deduce with that information? Well, maybe I'll run a month. Let me see what it looked like this month. What did it look like this month last year? Are we making progress? Are we behind? It's all at my fingertips. It makes life really easy. The other thing I really love as an owner, again, Bora Bora or Denver, Colorado, or on a vacation, I could just press play on any inbound lead, and I could listen to my office staff on the phone with that prospect. And that does a number of things for me. Number one, I'm QAing the process in my office. Are they answering the phone the right way? Are they following the script? Did they miss something? Did they say something incorrectly? Did they mislead the customer on a service we do that they said we don't do? Were they polite? What did the homeowner want? It just allows me to really scrutinize stuff in the office, so I don't have to be there. I don't have to be sitting next to the phone answerer, eavesdropping. I am eavesdropping, and she knows it. She knows it. Also, because the staff knows you have these recordings, man, it keeps them to task. They stay right on point. They know you're listening.
Like Megan said earlier, is knowing your numbers, and this is our component to that process. So we're out of time, guys, but I really thank you for
One
your
quick
participation.
thing. I'm so excited about all the new people I met. There's so many of you I haven't talked to yet. If you would jot down my socials, because we're peers, I could learn a lot from you. My personal brand is The Greenwich Contractor. I'm on Instagram with that. And then my two big companies are at CT Gutter and at CT Stormwater. See how I brand and how I market? I have tons of videos on all those Instagrams. The Greenwich Contractor is more of my fun place, my goofy place, but I have a lot of fun there. Friend me, follow me, I'll follow you back. I'm excited about all these new connections I made over this weekend. So thanks for your time, guys. Appreciate it.
I'm going to pass out a flyer. Anybody that didn't get a flyer, I'm going to pass it out to you now.